Good evening, everyone, and welcome tonight. Day number 164. We're going to be talking tonight about the second phase of this war. And if you have been here with us all these days, you are educated. You know that this invasion that began February the 24th, 2022, really was the second phase of the war that began in 2014. But with this second phase beginning in February, this is the second phase of the second phase. We're definitely seeing some signs, definitely seeing the reasons why we will be saying that, and we'll be updating you. Let me give some hellos here. Carol, welcome out in California. Linda Castillo, I see you there. Roe, down in Virginia. Ricochet, Mr. Florida, welcome, sir. Seagull 32, love that name. Blessings. Lynn, Harold, Mr. Baseball down there. Paul Kiss, resident. Resident Canadian, Pennsylvania. I just saw a message here. Rainwater, I'll get you. Jeffrey Burnett, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. You're the best. You're the best thing ever happened, man. Big help. Eric Wood, checking Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Kim Porter, Carolina. Carolyn Cadman, welcome to you. Placer County, California. Oh, yes. Don Gentilini, welcome to you. R. Dot, Arizona. We've got it figured out now. Maximal Mustang. Nice to see you again, checking in from Germany. Rhonda Hodge, God bless you. Is my man watching tonight? Rainwater Games, it was blocked out for a moment. Why? Because we have restrictions. You know, you're a streamer on certain words. Hate's one of them. But that's what he said. Why do people hate Zelensky so much? Listen, it's getting worse. It is getting worse and maddening. Today, so many key leaders around the world dropping hate on Zelensky. It's what we've been saying. Sanctions will not work, and the power of propaganda. But we're here to tell the truth every night. Rick Berry, welcome to you. Andrea Schoaf, welcome to you. And it's going to be good. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Let me click one more button there. Ted Morris, welcome, my friend. Ricochet, weak leaders, 100%. I saw a message here from Indiana. I think it was Indiana. It's going quick, so it's hard for me to see everything. But you're welcome. Thank you. And let's jump right to it. As we know, tomorrow is church day. Make sure you're in church somewhere. I want to start actually with this. Disade, Oklahoma, welcome. I want to start with this actually. Let me go to it. Jaco Zhenya will be here tomorrow. He was going to be here tonight, but the exhaustion bug caught him. That's what I wanted to start with as well. Listen, we were talking just a little while ago, and he said, man, ain't happening. So the refugee camps have wore him out for 2 weeks. So he will be here tomorrow, for sure. Let's start here. Really interesting, Rainwater, that you asked that question. Why do people hate on Zelensky so much? And it's not all, but it definitely is a growing tone. And we see a lot of the guys in the chat with weak leadership, et cetera, that's true. So today, Zelensky put out a personal update. Of course, it was in a video address. I took a couple of passages out of it. It's translated. Wanted to share it with you guys tonight. And it was good news. You know, many times he gets accused so much of being a beggar. That's one of the big criticisms. He's a beggar. Well, what on earth is the man supposed to do when his nation is being leveled and nations have promised to be there to provide weaponry, to provide support, but they don't deliver? What is he supposed to do while the people that he is the president of are being erased? He's doing a really good job, period. So today he gave a little different personal update. It was a positive spin. All this is related. It's games on the political scene. He said, over this week, the armed forces of Ukraine and our intelligence have achieved strong results in destroying the logistics of the Russian army, the rear bases of the invaders, and every strike on the enemy's ammunition depots on their command post on accumulation of Russian equipment saves lives of the Ukrainian military and civilians. He then stated, I thank my partners, everyone who supplies Ukraine with weapons, and special thank you to the United States for supplying additional ammunition for the HIMARS. They are used very accurately and to the benefit of the overall strategy of our defense. We are doing everything to get even more effective and modern weapons. So it's very good. Yeah, you guys, hey, we know the truth. He's an exceptional leader. Oh, man. Maximal Mustang from Germany. That's a great. I love this being interactive. My personal theory, people dislike Zelensky because he shows the courage that they themselves do not have, makes them feel bad in comparison. Good comment, bud. Desade, you got to correct on that. Yeah, it's obvious, but we know the truth, and we're going to continue to tell the truth. Now, I want to zoom in here for some really in-depth tactical looks tonight. Won't take long, but you need to know this because the title of the program tonight was The Second Phase of the War Has Begun. The second phase of this invasion has begun. No question. Kyiv, Zelensky, Arestovich, General Staff, we're saying we see August 5, August 6 as a date where they should be prepared for a further invasion. They were accurate. It has increased on a major level in shelling in these 6 locations. I'm going to look at a couple of them in depth for you tonight and give you some insight and quotes out of Kyiv over the last 24 hours. We'll start at the top first. Once again, Sumy is back on the radar. Sumy, early in the war, was being destroyed. Russia kind of rotated out to the east. Now, Sumy, once again, is being shelled on an extremely high level. It's like XXX exponentially more than it has been over the last few months. So we see that push. We've heard that there's either going to be some push or distraction in the north. So one of the reasons I say the second phase has started is because at the minimum, we're seeing the distraction in the far north now with Sumy being under massive attack. The shelling on Kharkiv has increased even more. Once again, for sure, they want Kharkiv. For sure, they want Kharkiv destroyed. But it has increased there. Drop down to the next green circle, and we're going to look at that closer in just a moment. But Konstantinovka, and I know it's not on the map, but it's just below Kramatorsk. I've been there many times. Konstantinovka was hit extremely hard, like never before since the war started. Today, August the 6th, we're seeing the signs of the second push. Now, come down. These are cities you know. Zaporozhye. The attacks increased exponentially over the last 24 hours. Nikopol, it's already been increased for the last week. They're not stopping. And Mykolaiv. We talked about Mykolaiv last night. They've increased so much that Vitaly Kim, they've had to rearrange curfews. People are having to do their life differently. So we see the signs there that this second phase has started, but I want to take it a little deeper. So here we are zoomed into the east. Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, for sure you recognize those cities. And I only put on the map tonight 2 black circles. Why? Because Bakhmut on the right is absolutely being barraged every day. Bakhmut is going to be a key city for Russia to capture or Ukraine to hold. Why? because the M3 highway runs right to the east of it. If you can control Bakhmut, you're going to control that portion of the highway. It is a major, major intersection there, as well as the road going up to Slavyansk and over to Konstantinovka and back over towards Donetsk and Lugansk. So that is key, and that has increased. And today, on the left, kind of out of the norm, Konstantinovka was smashed. And they've been smashed before, but it's been relatively quiet. Yes, they're being shelled daily, but when you live in that, if the shelling happens for an hour or two, it's different than it's happening 8, 10, 12 hours. And however they rotate the weapons, I do not know. But Konstantinovka, it has increased exponentially, as well as Bakhmut. So that is why we say there. Secondly, British intelligence came out. And 6th of August, some of the best intelligence in the world, and I think a lot of our American guys in here know this, that are in military. These guys on the British intelligence are sharp. Their entire statement today was about the escalation of the Russian forces, amassing troops in the south. It's very, very clear, doing more attacks in the north and the east, but the focus being on the south. So additionally, British intelligence comes out with that information. Now, let's zoom into Mykolaiv. Here's facts. Russia has moved 25,000 troops to the south of Ukraine to try to surround Mykolaiv. They have rotated in from Donetsk. They have also come out of Russia through Mariupol, over through Melitopol, and come on over toward Mykolaiv. This is all in the Kherson region. 10,000 of them are on the west bank of the Dnieper. The Dnieper is a river. If you look at the map I have for you, on the left there, 2 X's at the bottom of your screen, 10,000 troops are massed there. And you may say, well, if they know they're there, why don't they just get them? I'm sure they're trying. This is a war. It's intelligence. In fact, I'm going to give you some more intelligence tonight on the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. They know it. Of course they're trying. But both sides have weapons. So 10,000 troops on the west bank, southwest of Mykolaiv. Recently, 9 Russian units from Donbass and Crimea, numbering from 500 to 800 people, were transferred additionally to the region. And here is why. The capture of this city, Mykolaiv, is key if Moscow plans to capture Odessa. If they cannot get Mykolaiv, they will not get Odessa, period. They are going to have the ability to come in on the ground, because they cannot do it. They could never take Odessa from the sea. They can land all the ships they want, which they do not have that many in the big scheme of things. It's not going to happen. But on the ground and the sea, then you have a shot at Odessa. So we have piling up here. I have there in the circle, the city is Alexandrivka. And I wanted to share that with you because this is a town. You see now that it's occupied. The red covers it. But early in the war, you were a part, as you have given money and finances through our church, through Bethel Life, through our online stuff, through all of that. We delivered humanitarian aid to Alexandrivka. We delivered food. We delivered medical supplies to that city when it was still in Ukrainian territory, but not far from the lines. Unfortunately, now that city is under control of the enemy. Maybe you're here tonight and you're new. We're getting lots of new folks, and you say, okay, well, how Odessa? Let me show you. So here you have Mykolaiv circled in the blue. Let me go to a red for this. We have the troops pushing up from the south, and across, and they want Mykolaiv. Why? So they can wrap down and get Odessa. Because coming from sea only, it's never going to happen. So, they have Kherson, but this, let me change colors just so you know. Right here, this river passing here, it take a naval fleet. It's like 10 miles across that river. This is way out toward the Black Sea. So they need to have access on the line, on the land, to come back around to Odessa. Once again, let's just go ahead and put a little prediction out there. But when they decide, if Russia was to take this, I guess it would be red, Russia was to take this, which they are definitely trying now, and they were to push from Odessa to Odessa, this is when these troops would become very important. And you may be here going, what troops are those? Well, that's Russian forces, 1,500 Russian forces right here in the Transnistria, and the largest ammunition supplies for the Russian Federation is about right there in the Transnistria. So then, of course, you would have multiple pushes. That's what we think. That's what I think. But hopefully we never get to that point and the forces never see the ground in Mykolaiv. Now, we go a little bit further. Right here, we go a little bit further. We come over to Zaporozhye. On the left, you see the nuclear sign. That is the marker that just to the left of that is the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. And the situation in Zaporozhye, this is directly from Arestovich. The concentration of troops in the Tokmak area, which is just south of those middle red circles you see with the red X's, continues. 3 to 4 battalion groups were sent in 2 days. There are up to 10 additional battalion groups in this direction. This is an offensive movement that we were expecting. Once again, another reason title of the program tonight is we are getting into the second phase. It's obvious. Now, a third reason we're coming into the second phase. Right here, we have to look at the area of Novokakhovka. And this is what Zelensky was saying. We're hitting these places, but they just keep bringing it, but we keep hitting it. So it's good. But unfortunately, right now, massive buildup of the Russian forces in the area of Novokakhovka. That is basically where I had those troops marked for you right there. And the problem is they do not know where they're going. So we've already got the additional forces up pushing on that south side of Mykolaiv. We have the forces pushing up from Tokmak toward Zaporozhye. In the middle, we have the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant that right now is one of the main stories in the world. And below that, at Novokakhovka, we have 15 battalions. And when you have battalions, you have all the infrastructure. That's not just soldiers. And I should have pulled that graphic up tonight for you. But when you analyze Russian army and you look at a battalion, typically between 8 and 1,200 foot soldiers. But then in addition to that, it will have X amount of rocket launchers, X amount of infrastructure trucks, fuel trucks, armored personal carriers, tanks. It's all a battle group, a battalion, and it's loaded right there. And do not know. Once again, why aren't they hitting them? They are hitting them. Why aren't they hitting them? Right there. That's why they aren't hitting them more. I need ammunition, not a ride. If they had more, they'd be slinging more. But this is a situation that we're now in. And I know, yes, I'm getting ready for some movement here in the next few weeks, and I am getting buffed ready for it. Mariupol madness. I had to show this to you guys tonight. I had to show this to you. Let me catch up on the chat over here. I was in Facebook jail for the word bomb. Yeah, Karen Foster, be careful. That's why, honestly, guys, and I'm going to start saying this now. Let me start saying this tonight. Please make every effort to switch over to YouTube. There are multiple reasons. A, it's a much better environment. Now, you may need, forget it. We'll do tutorials later because I want to keep rolling. But make every effort to watch on YouTube. The main reason is in a few weeks when I'm on the road, I may only be able to get to YouTube. We're already working on that. I'm working on this stuff with Stephen Haywood. What is the best way to be portable, very lightweight, and be able to get safely after the fact, don't worry, guys, information back out. So please make every effort to get to YouTube. We're going to do some tutorials on that. So here we go. Mariupol Madness. That right there, I took a still shot out of the video I'm getting ready to show you. Let me tell you what's happening in Mariupol. The truck you see there, the word on the back door, it looks like a staple. So the letters are staple, T-E-K-A. Well, the staple is a P, P. Above that, there is an A. You'll see it on the video. So that word would be A-P-T-E-K-A, apteka. What is the apteka? It's the pharmacy. So in Mariupol, what is happening is medicines that are coming in for humanitarian aid, even from the Russian side, pay attention, is being put into trucks, a mobile apteka, driven around and sold to people at 10 times the normal price that it would be in a Ukrainian pharmacy. They are stealing medicine that has been donated and given and charging 10 times the amount. So you say, what medicine? How about blood pressure medicine? Diabetes medicine? 10x. Now, I have a yellow arrow there because I want this to be clear. I zoomed into that video. I slowed it down. This is a still shot. That is a Russian truck. That is not a Ukrainian truck. That has the Russian flag. You can clearly see the red, the blue, and above that is the white. It's covered up. A198HK. 100% a Russian truck, Russians inside, selling medicines to Ukrainians in Mariupol at 10x. Here you go. Apteka. This is how people, and you know, with the videos that we can get out of Mariupol, they're very short, they're very quick, unless it's coming from the occupants or propaganda, then it's whatever. But anything that Ukrainians are trying to film in Mariupol, they'll just do quick clips because they can actually get in some bad trouble for filming. So that's the Mariupol madness. Now, I want to update you all tonight on Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Just got here, Blake Parker said. Who's stealing whose medicine? There you go, Bob Piccarilli. Matt Hayes, good day from Australia. Welcome, mate. I have some friends down there. They're sand gropers. I think that's what you call them. He lives over on the west side. Perth. Sand groper. I think it's sand groper. He's trying to teach me Aussie slang. Welcome. Blake Parker, who's stealing whose medicine? Russia stealing humanitarian medicine there in Mariupol and selling it at 10x in a truck. In trucks throughout Mariupol. All right. Big update tonight on Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. The fourth power unit, as you know, you could see the pictures. I've shown you the videos. There are 6 power units there. The fourth power unit of the plant has been disconnected from the power system. This is directly from the head of the Zaporozhye OVA, Alexander Staruk. Today, the system that transports the hydrogen to the ZNPP was shelled. Just ponder on that a moment. The system that transports hydrogen was shelled. There are additional fires. In addition to yesterday, additional power lines have been damaged, forcing the unit to shut down. Building 1 has been mined, the first reactor, and the Russian Federation is using it to store munitions. And finally, collaborators are known. Unfortunately, in a war, you have collaborators, those that work with the enemy. Now, this is actually on both sides. Ukraine has people, Russians, there that are actually helping them because they do not want a nuclear disaster. They also do not want to be killed, so it's information coming, as well as the Russian side has Ukrainians that have jumped ship. This place right here is a disaster, but I can tell you pretty confidently what Putin's plan is here. I'm just going to predict it, or at least put some conjecture out there, that this plant will be offline in a couple of months, completely. Not from blowing up. I pray that nothing of that level happens. Although today, Ukraine government in Kyiv released a fact sheet on what will happen if there is just minimal leakage. Minimal. No explosions, just minimal leakage from that power plant. And I remind you, that is the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. I just think it is Putin's plan to take this plant offline. Why? Because the cold is coming and they'll starve people. They'll freeze them. And how do you do it? You take off the largest power plant in Ukraine offline, in Europe offline. I think that is what's going to happen. Now, with that said, I want to show you some video footage. I have it translated for you. This is from The Insider in Ukraine. This is Ukrainian reporting. But this information that comes to them comes from and in cooperation with the SBU. Who is the SBU? Well, it'd kind of be like our CIA. It would be like the Russian version of the KGB, the KGB, the SBU in Ukraine. This information is reliable. It's accurate. They're getting the reconnaissance. We have drones in the air, and they were able to catch what actually is happening at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. And these things were unfolding on August the 2nd.
Сообщают о подозрительной активности на Запорожской АЭС, оккупированной российскими военными. 2 августа на территорию АЭС прибыла колонна военных грузовиков. Они остановились между первым и вторым энергоблоками, а потом по одной машине начали заезжать на территорию машинного зала первого энергоблока через грузовые ворота. По данным этого источника, военные заминировали машинный зал. Другой источник, инсайдер, сообщает, что на АЭС находится около 500 российских солдат и военная техника, в том числе БТРы, зенитные установки и техника для радиохимической разведки. Он сообщает о том, что российские военные заминировали территорию АЭС, а мины и боекомплект российские военные хранят в непосредственной близости от энергоблоков под эстакадами.
Okay, so now you say, okay, it looks like the nuclear power plant. Yeah, well, here you go, folks. You saw the trees there. I'll just give it to you. You saw the trees there. I'm going to show you exactly where that truck was. Move the map up this way. You look down. These were the trees coming into the entrance building. You saw people walking across the walkway here. You could see these pipes and infrastructure. You come to reactor number 1. This is the gate they went through. They come back here and into this access door here. And there's the little white container you saw beside the trucks going in, as well as the pipes and infrastructure behind it. 100% no-brainer. This is exactly where it was, and this is exactly what is happening. We are a millisecond, one minor mistake away from a major problem. Jeff Cofriend, God bless you, my friend. Thank you. Every super chat that comes here goes to support Ukraine, not me. We're doing everything we can to support, and much, much appreciated. Welcome to you. How big is this plant? How much power? You know, we're getting the knowledge going now, guys. Here we go. The boys are unloading tonight. JDO, well, let me get off of that and go to here. Sorry. JDO says those reactors of a closed loop design, which is why you do not see cooling towers. Okay. How much infrastructure does that plant power? You know, I have no idea. I can tell you right here, I can show you this because I'm not a nuclear scientist, but the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant right here. Europe's largest nuclear power plant right there. Of course, things we've already been talking about, situations out of control, we know that. As far as how much it powers, I don't know, but I guarantee it's a lot. So that's where we're at there, pushing all these buttons. Now take it the next step. If Ukraine did all of this and this is just all what Russia says as a joke, then why would Joseph Borrell, the EU, come out and condemn Russia's military activities around the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant? This is a serious and irresponsible breach of nuclear safety rules and another example of Russia's disregard for international norms. The IAEA org must gain access. You know, this is one of the things that I tried to share a few nights ago. The IAEA, they're not getting the information they need. Now, here's what they are getting. They do know and do receive the information if there is a radiation leak or a problem, and I'm sure it will be obvious, but they're not getting the data that is supposed to be sent to them basically 24/7 on the status of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. That's a fact. Now, this is the fact sheet. This is written in Ukrainian that Ukraine released today. I can share it with you. I'll translate it. They show the nuclear power plant, and they say on the left side, it just a minimal leak. This is what you need to expect and be prepared for. We will have a radiation zone of initial effect out around Energodar. Then it'll push out to Zaporozhye, out to Kryvyi Rih and Melitopol and Dnipro. All of these cities, you will be affected. And they gave the breakdowns at 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers, and 100 kilometers, what to expect, what to do, just in case, how to prepare. And listen, this is getting serious. This is not a hype train. This is not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. We're one mistake. Folks, there are munitions and mines all around that plant. And there are munitions stored right in the reactor buildings. One mistake. One mistake. What if just by, I don't know, just by accident, something happens? Energodar leadership surprise. Told you. This is interesting. The commander in charge of the Russian unit in Energodar has now been identified. Because Ukraine doesn't know. They try to locate, identify the leaders because they want to take them out. So the commander in charge of Energodar, the nuclear power plant, his name is Vadim Vladimirovich Klumenko. The Y sounds like a U. Klumenko. He's Ukrainian. Klumenko was born in the village of Prosyan, that is in the Dnepropetrovsk region near the city of Dnipro. His ex-wife, his son, and his daughter live in Dnipro. They've never lived in Russia. there you have it. Unfortunately, this does not prevent this man from personally leading the destruction that is happening in Energodar and the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Interesting. Revelations from Moscow. I know you probably have seen headlines on this, but I try to keep you guys updated on any of the propaganda that is pertinent. Well, this story was making some headlines today, and that was that North Korea has offered partnership to Russia to help, not only in the war, but also in the rebuilding, infrastructure. Of course, they're going to do this. Of course. They're going to try to get up on the world stage as well. They're feeling left behind. And of course, it's a joke. That is a horrible situation in North Korea. However, they have a tremendously large army. And even if they're inaccurate, have failures, they're nuclear power. And they're 100% in Putin's back pocket. So, what was the revelations? Well, the guy that's talking about it, this is the guy you need to listen to. Okay, I've shared with you about this guy. His name is Igor Korotchenko. He's the white-haired guy that is sometimes on the propaganda shows with Solovyov and others. And the reason we must at least pay attention to Korotchenko is because he's not a propagandist per se. Of course he is, but he actually works as a military expert in that council that Medvedev is a part of, and Korotchenko has the ear of Putin. He's on that level. He was speaking on the program, and it'll speak for itself.
Теперь дальше по Донбассу. Вот появилась информация, что 100 тысяч северокорейских добровольцев готовы прибыть для участия в боевых действиях против...
Северокорейские добровольцы, Игорь Юрьевич, даже звучит как Оксимирон.
Знаете, может быть шутка, может быть нет, не знаю, но Северная Корея, по крайней мере, политически свою позицию обозначила. Более того, северокорейские строители готовы работать вместе с нашими по восстановлению разрушенных Украиной городов Донбасса, Херсонской, Запорожской и других областей, которые мы освобождаем и которые еще предстоит освободить. Но почему мы должны стесняться, например, взять и воспользоваться такой помощью?
Не должны.
Кстати говоря, северокорейские строители работают качественно, хорошо, выносливы, неприхотливы, самое главное, мотивированы. И не надо нам стесняться принимать вот эту руку, которую нам протягивает Ким Чен Ын. Да вообще России пора выйти из режима санкций против Северной Кореи. Открыть границу, наладить нормальный товарообмен. Ну а если северокорейские добровольцы с их артиллерийскими системами, богатым опытом контрбатарейной борьбы, с реактивными системами залпового огня северокорейского производства, повышенного калибра, захотят принять участие в боевых действиях, ну, давайте зажгем зеленый свет на пути их к добровольческому порыву. В конце концов, мы помогали Северной Корее. Если Северная Корея вдруг изъявит такое желание выполнить свой интернациональный долг по борьбе с украинским фашизмом, давайте окажем ей
Мы не просто помогали, мы ее создали.
Ну, в данном случае мы здесь в определенной степени говорим с уважением. Да, в истоке независимости Северной Кореи советская и китайская военная помощь, и наши добровольцы. И если сегодня северокорейские трудовые и военные добровольцы прибудут на Донбасс, это суверенное право суверенных государств ДНР и ЛНР заключить соответствующие межправительственные соглашения.
Now, here's what I'll tell you. Some of what that man said is true. Some of it. The part about Russia building North Korea, they did. I have a desire to go to North Korea. No, I'm not going. I'm not going. But I've been in some other crazy places, and but I know where to draw the line. But North Korea is basically 1960s Soviet Union. That's what it is. And the Soviet Union built it. It's a fact. Infrastructure is the same, buildings are the same. You could just put up Russian lettering and signs, and you would think it was some place in Russia. So there's accuracy in that. I'm going to show you one more. It's a little quick clip about Ukraine never existing. But before we do that, let's do this. How far in miles is that nuclear plant from Russia proper? Is that part of Are You Not Heavily Populated? So I was checking that for you while video is playing. So let me go here, and we'll put a marker for a distance there. I'm sorry, wrong place. That's Nikopol. Let's do it exactly. Let's erase that distance and start over. Energodar. Here we go. So there's Energodar, and the closest line is right here above Taganrog, Taganrog, and the biggest city that would be close is Rostov-on-Don, which would be a disaster. That's a beautiful city. Listen, I tell you guys the truth here. Rostov-on-Don is a beautiful city in Russia. Gorgeous. But to the line, let's do here. 171 miles. And if you go on over to Rostov-on-Don, it's 237 miles. That would be the extent. But, of course, all the Ukrainian cities as well. So 237 miles there. I did see, I like this comment right here. Maximal Mustang. It is also playing, and this with nuclear fears in Western Europe, many of my fellow Germans become hysterical when the word nuclear is mentioned. Russia's hope is to divide Western societies. That is a fantastic comment. I agree. And not only do I agree, who else better to listen to, folks, when you're talking about Europe than a European? If I want to hear about Germany, well, let's listen to a German. When we're talking about Great Britain, our guys from Great Britain that are part of this, they're putting the comments in. We're trying to be as accurate as humanly possible. So now, second revelation. This is why we're going to see the second phase of this war on a heavy level before the weather gets cold. Because they're putting out the words now that Ukraine never existed.
Не надо стыдиться ни своей мощи,
Remember who's
ни
speaking.
своих амбиций, тем более они носят абсолютно здоровый характер. Здесь было сказано, что Россия пытается стереть Украину с геополитической карты мира. Это не совсем так. Мы стираем с геополитической карты мира проект «Анти-Россия». А будущее, та часть населения Украины, которая сегодня освобождена от киевского и западного диктата, эти люди сделают и выберут сами. Я думаю, этот выбор очевиден. С Россией, в составе России, вместе. Украина – это часть исторической России. Такого государства, как Украина, никогда не существовало. Те политические элиты Украины, которые сделали выбор в превращении в проект «Анти-Россия», такие государства не имеют права на существование с точки зрения национальных интересов нашей страны. И ни Запад, ни Соединенные Штаты не смогут повлиять на волю и решительность руководства нашей страны и нашего народа сделать так, чтобы угроза больше такая никогда в нашей истории не существовала с территории нынешнего государства под названием Украина.
Now, I want to remind you two things here. That's Igor Korochenko. He's in the inner circle. He's not just a propagandist. He's in the inner circle. Secondly, pay attention. And it was probably a month ago I showed you an Igor clip when he was on. Nobody interrupts him. They know better. They know better. It's unbelievable. Don Gentilini, you are spot on. Those are words of genocide. Those are words of genocide. And that is what we're seeing. But I shared that tonight because the world needs to know that is not just some guy that crawled out from under a rock shooting propaganda. He's in the inner circle. He's in the Kremlin. He knows, and he has the ear. That is why this is dangerous, and we need to pay attention to it. Now, last couple of things for tonight. Remember, Zhenya and I were talking about why Belarus expanded their air closures through August the 13th. And we didn't really know why. And there was a map we had shown you over to the right where they closed out 2 zones. And we're going, why would they close those 2 zones? Well, now it's clear. Over the last 24 hours, Ilyushin 76, which is a cargo airplane, I guess that would be like our C-130, except our C-130 is better. But the Ilyushin 76 of the Russian Federation, they're transporting to Belarus a new batch of missiles for the S-300 and 400 air defense system, heavy military transport aircraft of the Russian aerospace forces, one of which, registration number RA76604, flew in from Pskov and landed in Gomel at 8:26. You say, man, how do you know the number and the time? Because the Belarusians that love Ukraine are giving away all the information, and they share it, and we get it in Ukraine. Locals report that every 1.5 hours, these planes are landing and delivering equipment. Where? In the cities where the zones were closed. Very, very easy to see what's happening. But that is why Belarus has closed their airspace and extended it. Now, Azerbaijan and Armenia, let me show you this first, and this is going to, I almost made this the title of the program tonight. Watch this first, and then I'm going to explain it to you.
Azerbaycan Respublikası'nın bayrağı dalgalanmaktadır. Merhaba.
Azerbaycanlılar! Komandolar.
Now let me explain it to you. Azerbaijan and Armenia, this was a boiling pot a few days ago. Remember? We did a whole little segment on it. The Azerbaijani army occupied Mount Buzduk and the surrounding hills. I spoke to guys in Ukraine about this today, so I would be clear, and we understand it perfectly what has happened. This was previously occupied by Russian peacekeeping forces and the Armenian armed forces just 48 hours ago. 48 hours ago, where you saw that flag being put up by Azerbaijani forces, Russian military and Armenian military was on that exact spot. Was there a battle? No. Was there a war? No. Then what happened? We're going to tell you what happened. Who met yesterday? President Erdogan and Vladimir Putin in Sochi. There was no public comment. There was no press conferences. Nations are just releasing the information, or it's being found out. For 4 hours, they were talking. Some of the things that they talked about and discussed and agreed upon, we already know. We shared that last night. My friends, this is not rocket science. Yesterday, Erdogan and Putin are meeting. Today, Azerbaijan, which is supported by Turkey, and Armenia, which is supported by Russia, the Russian forces left. They're gone. And the Azerbaijani forces came in and raised their flag. This area now is probably a dead issue. We shall see, but probably a dead issue. Why would that happen? Well, you had all kind of agreements going on. For example, Turkey moved quickly after the meeting 24 hours ago, 30 hours ago. In Turkey, 5 banks now work on the Russian payment system, and the name of the system's called Mir. Mir means world. According to the Turkish president, this is very convenient for tourists coming from Russia. It's a quote. They can, quote, make purchases and pay for accommodation, Erdogan said. Thus, Turkey not only makes money on visitors from the Russian Federation, but also eases the sanctions pain for Russia. So, there's Bloomberg. I don't show newspaper headlines, but this one I did. There's Bloomberg. Turkish banks are adopting Russian payment system, Erdogan says. Instantly. So, Russia gets a win because Turkey now is going to work with them. They're already going to pay for oil and gas in rubles, partially. Now they're on the Russian payment system. Russians can travel to Turkey, no problem. So what does Turkey get from it? Turkey, well, through Azerbaijan, gets to pump up their chest a little bit. Why? Because our guys now have that territory. They dropped their flag on it. And there wasn't a Russian soldier or Armenian soldier in sight. I have a feeling that a part of that meeting yesterday was, I'll tell you what, Vova, that would be the nickname for Vladimir Putin, Vova. Vova, I'll tell you what, you let my boys in Azerbaijan raise a flag, it'll give me some pride and a little bit of notoriety, and we'll accept some rubles. That's what happened. Very easy to see. Now, last couple of things for tonight. Ukraine is unable, unfortunately, now to get pensions out to over 300,000 Ukrainians that are in occupied zones. Prior to this, they were still able to do it up through July. And it's so sad. These guys are going to get nothing. Comes to the question of why can't people leave? Why aren't they leaving? They have no money. These pensioners are in occupied territories and have no system for receiving payment. Electronic is unavailable, and now the postal system is unavailable. These guys, they would receive it in their mailbox, a check. They received the pension through Ukroposhta, but that company, Ukroposhta, decided to stop working in regions that are now not controlled by Ukraine. Very sad. This is also on the economic side. We need to pay attention to it. This is the cost of building per square meter. It is going up in every region in the orange massively. The most expensive place is Odessa, followed by Kyiv, as well as Lviv. It's extremely. Many of these places, it's jumping up 3, 4, and 5 times for construction. Finally, here you can see a translation. Today I had Vladimir Zelensky do the translation on this. Not President Vladimir Zelensky, but the guy that works with Zhenya and I. I said, man, give me this chart in English. It'd just be easier than me translating it. So on the left is in Ukrainian. On the right, easier for your eyes in English. 108.3 billion direct economic losses to Ukraine as of August the 3rd. 48 billion in residential buildings, 31 billion infrastructure, roads, airports, 8.8 billion in industry, 4.3 billion in agriculture, 3.8 billion in education, 2.4 billion in transportation, 2.1 in commerce, 1.8 in energy, 1.6 in healthcare, 1.3 in housing and utilities, 900 million in culture, tourism, and sports, and 1.8 billion in the miscellaneous category. Regardless, 108 billion is the losses to Ukraine. This is unbelievable. So there you have it, folks. That is the update. I am going to check the chat before we sign out of here tonight, and I wish you guys well. Here we go. Well, first of all, let me say this. Guys, Maximo Mustang, I don't know who you are, but you're Maximo Mustang. But buddy, you are spot on. I'm very anxious about short-sighted leaders in Europe giving up on Ukraine. If Russia is not stopped now, Europe will be in a very bad place. If Russia is not defeated in Ukraine, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland will be next. You can put it in the bank, and Poland is your neighbor. You understand, sir. Very, very good insight right there. Let's see here. Massive explosions hitting Kharkiv. Let me see. Within the last 30 minutes, massive explosions hitting Kharkiv. Ricochet. Oh, my goodness. Good job, man. I read everything in the language, so it helps me to be able to read it quickly. But good job. So that's where we're at tonight. You guys are fully updated. Thank you. Continue to pray for Ukraine. Pray for the world. This is a ticking time bomb. And my shirt matches the graphic. Make sure you're in church somewhere tomorrow. It's a Sabbath. Be blessed. Peace to you. Peace to Ukraine. We'll see you in 23 hours. Have Zhenya with me. Yeah, I'm looking. Kharkiv. No bueno. We'll update on it tomorrow. Be blessed, guys. Good night.